change of direction, elasticity, explosive power, mass amounts of muscles co-contracting. This is athletic muscle.
And we're gonna show you that one key exercise that you can use to build athletic muscle, and we're gonna start right now.
So if we picked one exercise out of peak strength, out of the 700 plus exercises, what would that movement be to help us be more athletic? Would it be plyometrics? We know that plyometrics help us co-contract, and that helps us be more athletic. They're great for developing power output and elasticity, and they're also great for developing athletic muscle. So we could use a plyometric jump series, and I'm gonna demonstrate the linebacker stunt jump series. This movement pattern is extremely hard, and it's very, very good at developing athletic muscle. The reason being, you're gonna do this unilaterally. We're gonna do this from both sides. We're gonna focus on co-contractions, being as explosive as possible, and I'm even going to demonstrate my weak leg. So I don't jump off my right leg. It feels very weird, but if we're playing an open skilled sport and we want to be athletic, you have to have explosive legs on both sides. Otherwise, you're gonna have problems. This is something that we used developing Jan Johnson before he went off to play for the Tennessee Titans. It's absolutely fantastic for agility and for cutting capability. So we'll go here, we'll get set in that Gwiz position. The knee will be down on our single leg pad. We want that back foot up. You can get a little bit of a stretch shortening cycle forward to try and really light up the quad to get that plant out of here. I'm gonna try and do this as quickly as possible. I'm gonna go here, boom, 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 boom. A little sloppy.
Sensational.
But that's pretty good, okay? If we can think about cut, cut, boom, boom. You could use that linebacker stunt jump series for 4 to 5 sets on each leg, but it's not the one exercise that's gonna help you build that athletic muscle. So athletic muscle is key for helping you be stronger and more explosive. And I love to use that term elasticity. The reason being is that we know that with athletic muscle, you have to be coordinating at very high rates. You have to be able to recruit high threshold motor units. We have to be able to improve that elasticity through co-contractions so that we can react as quickly as possible through crazy exercises. And that takes us into one key aspect. Think about dynamic trunk control. So if we do a movement like the Lynch jump series, where we're here, we're reacting as quickly as possible, one of those big factors is that we have to have a stable trunk. If we have a stable trunk and we have nice hip co-contractions here, that's gonna help us produce more force to get out of those cuts. That's what athletic muscle is all about. It's taking that muscle that you have and making it more coordinated, making it more athletic, and helping it move together synergistically so that you can accomplish complex movements. And you can train your dynamic trunk control by picking up one of our free program templates down in the description. So if the one exercise to develop athletic muscle is not a plyometric movement, might it be an absolute strength exercise? And that's what we're gonna focus on first, putting the bar equally on your back. And the reason why I like to use absolute strength movements is it forces your body to have a little bit more stability. If we're using a barbell, we can just put more load on the bar, and that's gonna force us to have higher levels of mechanical tension, which also will lead to greater high threshold motor unit recruitment, and in turn, help you get stronger and more athletic. Now, one unique spin is that if you do an exercise like the unbroken single leg squats, you can do this movement if you're trying to focus on stability, creating more speed, and improving your locomotion. And that's exactly why I would recommend doing unbroken single leg squats to improve that athletic muscle. But absolute strength movements aren't always the absolute best for enhancing that athletic muscle. There's still something else that you can use to improve that elasticity and ultimately dynamic trunk control and those co-contractions, which will lead to more athletic muscle development. And we're gonna be giving away 1 free shirt to anyone who won. Comments down below. 2, make sure that all of your channel notifications are active to Garage Strength. And 3, show up to our Tuesday public lives to find out if you won this sweet shirt. Now, let's get athletic. So if we know a plyometric movement isn't the best for athletic muscle, it's still really good. And we know absolute strength movements aren't the best for athletic muscle, what else could there be? Well, maybe sometimes what you can do is use the garage strength contrast method, and that brings us to some unique exercises. So I like to use specific contrast methods that are gonna incorporate absolute strength movements that are very unique, along with a reflexive exercise, which we're about to show you. Now, one big aspect, I have never filmed this movement on YouTube, and I learned this directly from Faris Khan, the world-class, world-renowned speed and plyometric coach.
He was special.
So one thing he did is he completely changed how I felt about this specific exercise. So if we took a movement like this is going to be a split stance trap bar deadlift. We want to get set with a lot of our weight on that front foot, ideally like 75 to 80%. Okay, so we're gonna get set here, set that back. Now we're gonna switch, okay? Right here. And what makes that unique is that this is an exercise that sometimes when athletes will do a unilateral movement like the single leg squat or like this trap bar split stance, you can actually execute a higher speed movement within about 45 to 60 seconds at a better rate. So we would pair this, and I would go with a reflexive movement like a single leg RDL, where we drop a dumbbell, we absorb that energy and get into that hip lock position. That hip lock position helps that co-contraction that also links into that trunk control. So we're gonna be here, boom, boom. Nice and stable overhead. Here, boom, boom. Okay, here, one more. Notice you have to react. You're in a fully lengthened position in that hamstring, and then you have to come through and then be stable on that stopping point. Here, boom, boom. So you could do something like 5 sets of 3 on each side, pair that with 5 sets of 3 on each leg with that single leg RDL drop into that dumbbell snatch. These movements are freaking awesome. But again, they're not the one single exercise that we're digging for. This right here is the holy grail of building athletic muscle.
You have chosen wisely.
Inside of Peak Strength, out of our 700 plus exercises, this is what we use fairly frequently to develop that athletic muscle, which is exactly why we want to give you 5 free workouts inside of Peak Strength when you go to peakstrength.app, the Apple iOS store or the Google Play Store. And what is that one movement pattern? We've got to think through, is this an exercise that's going to help improve dynamic trunk control? Is it going to help with speed? Is it going to help with mobility? Is it going to help with coordination? Is it going to help with neural intelligence? Is it even going to help provide feedback to the coach so that the coach can understand how that individual athlete or how that individual takes instructions? Absolutely, and that exercise is going to be, the snatch. Now, one big thing here is that when we're looking at a movement like the snatch, okay, we can do a bunch of different variations. We can do a full snatch. Right now, I'm running in upwards of 10 to 15 miles on specific days, training for a marathon. And I can still do a snatch with lighter weight, focusing on getting nice and mobile, opening up my hips, being stable in that upper back, squeezing through that trunk. Other days, I might do something like this, just focusing on speed. A nice and easy power snatch. One of the biggest qualities that we lose even as we age is that ability to produce force at very high speeds. So that's exactly why we love this snatch. It helps improve that neural intelligence. It helps improve mobility. It makes the athlete focus on speed and acceleration. It makes the athlete focus on those shoulder co-contractions, the hip co-contractions, that dynamic trunk control when they're in that bottom position. And then ultimately, that just opens up a large breadth of crazy exercises that we can build upon to help improve that explosiveness, that power, that elasticity, and that is the key behind athletic muscle. Test out that snatch today, because remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.